We should switch to Radio Lasagna. I think that name sounds better.
Well, I think 5 Quadrant is...
we've already changed the name so many times, it might as well be Radio Lasagna now.
Why can't we
Because we have layers of radio.
Let's just stick with 5 Quadrant, because
5
we've already got
the
whole thing set
like
up.
20 people like us on Facebook, so I mean...
It's got 90 likes on Facebook.
Oh, never mind, okay.
So-
that's more than I expected. I haven't looked at the Facebook.
It's a recycled page. It's from the old Guilty Pleasures.
It was
so
Tuesdays with Tom.
everybody's leftover from
Yeah.
Guilty Pleasures is still liking our page. And so they haven't... I don't think there's been like an exodus of people who've unliked it.
Does anybody unlike a page though? Like, is that a thing people do really? I mean, unless like you're really spamming them. Like, I can't really think of a time I've unliked a page unless like that's all I see on my news feed.
Well, I figure we gotta just stick with the name at some point. We're currently on 5 Quadrant. It's a little more palatable than Radio Lasagna or Vegetable Lasagna, just because I think lasagna throws people off.
Yeah, that's why I put the radio in front of the lasagna. And then it's Radio Lasagna.
Because then it's normal.
Yeah, then it makes,
unlike vegetables.
That makes more sense.
It does at least sound like it could be a
radio
podcast
show,
or something
yeah.
with Radio Lasagna as opposed to Vegetable Lasagna.
Or 5 Quadrant.
I like 5 Quadrant.
Okay, 5, yeah.
Radio Quadrant. 5 Radio.
Radio Quad.
5 radios. And we have a producer now.
We do.
And I think there's nothing more fitting than we finally get a guy who studies sound design, or I think he is a sound designer. I don't know if he's still studying it or what exactly, but he had reached out to work on our movies and also to work on the podcast. And so I got it worked out now. So he's going to be our boss. We're going to have a boss again.
Why do we have a boss? I thought we were the boss.
Because we're not good at being our own boss here. Because we
what's he gonna do that's so bossy?
The main thing he's gonna do is try to sell the show to people, because we do will share a link occasionally.
I don't really ever post anything.
It's
on
like
the page.
A dirty little secret.
Well, I don't know what I can post on the page.
Yes.
It's like,
well, you can post anything you want.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I'm gonna tell him he can post anything he wants.
Awesome.
And
I like
so
that idea.
basically, I'm just gonna get like a little a team with all of us. Yeah. He'll be kind of in charge of actually selling it to people. So because we're just not gonna do a good job of that.
No, we're just gonna keep doing what we do.
Yeah. So the real thing is we're gonna keep doing what we do, but then he's gonna try to make it more
commercial.
Kind of, yeah, and then just to get it to the right people, essentially. Okay. And then, it might not be bad for us to occasionally have someone who's like, "Hey, this week, why don't you do this, this, and that?"
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
So then maybe we know what to do then.
Yeah, right. Because I don't think he's gonna take over the show in a bad way, but maybe us not giving ourselves the directions could be useful.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, mix it up a little bit. What if we revolt though? You go on strike.
Well, it's a test period. We can fire him, I guess, if we really want to.
But he's the boss. What if he fires us?
Well, he's the boss in that he's running the podcast.
Okay.
Like I run the movie that we're making, but I'm not like I don't know. I guess I know that you and I are not going to put in enough time in the podcast probably to make it super successful. So someone who's really good at
I feel like if it got successful we would, but the problem is that it's
But we need somebody else to kind of like push it over the edge and then let it fall and either sink or swim.
Okay.
After
push the bird out of the nest.
See if it clenched its butt or if it didn't when it hits. What condition is it in afterwards?
Go feet first or face first. It's like,
was it shallow? Was it not? Yeah. He's the one pushing, so it's up to him really.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
We can blame him if we die when we get down there. And of course, in the most perfect vegetable lasagna, whatever, I don't know, way, he couldn't make it today, which was the first week, but it was kind of like short notice to get him here. But what I remember is last time we had like an active in quotes producer in the room was when we were doing our morning show, and Ben would show up.
Oh, and just kind of sit there and giggle.
Half the time, Ben would like literally fall asleep on the ground.
Yeah, I remember that.
Well, he'd be late.
Yeah,
and all we asked of Ben was to say occasional things into the mic, and he wasn't operating the switchboard or really doing anything else. But I think
that switchboard was annoying though. I
remember like
our first few times in there, it was like when we were streaming and we were flipping switches and seeing what happens, trying to figure out if we're on or not.
The manager talked me through it,
Yeah.
Were you there?
Yeah, I think so. You just kind of like flip the switch and
yeah,
you're
he's
good
like,
to
you
go.
just do this, that, and then it's all done. I was like, all right, that seems easy.
Yeah,
and
then you actually go to do it and you don't remember what, this, that, and those are.
They really didn't double check to make sure we knew what we were doing before we went on the air, though. So I remember that with the first like 5 minutes we were on the air and no one could hear us.
Yeah.
That was
no one noticed because no one was listening.
But anyway, so yeah, I think his name is Michael Polacek. He'll be our new producer.
Okay, I think I've heard the name somewhere. I mean, you must have told me about it. Somewhere.
Yeah, probably. He's going to be our sound man on the next movie also. So
sound.
We'll have a sound, Mr. Sound Man.
Mr. Sound, okay.
He'll be around, and I think it might be fun for our dynamic to have a boss in the room.
Yeah.
You don't think so?
I don't know. We'll see.
I think that could be fun.
I mean,
I don't know what it's going to be like. 'Cause I don't know if he's going to like.
He just like awkwardly sits there and like stares. Like,
wouldn't that be funny though too?
It kind of would, but
I think it's a win-win.
Like
I think
we have like this pressure of us trying to like not like look at the person. And then,
you can look at him.
No. I mean, like if he's just giving us like a,
he just hates it.
Yeah,
that'd be hilarious.
It would.
I think it's a win-win situation. Whether he's professional or unprofessional, it'll be funny.
Yeah.
Because we've created something, not really with 5 Quadrant, but more with vegetable lasagna, where it's almost like the perfect show about people who don't really know how to do a good show.
Yeah.
Because anything can go wrong and it can just be part of it.
It's a show that's supposed to be focused, but it doesn't end up being that way, and that's half the fun.
And we tried focus. I thought it was fun to try focus with 5 Quadrant, but apparently
I think we just need to focus our focus to like one small point of the.
Basically people just want us to talk. They don't want us to be focused or try to be informative.
They don't want other people to talk over us. They just want us.
I don't know what they want. Huh. I don't know what the people want, but apparently they just want us to talk. And I thought this
they want more lasagna. That's what they
want.
They
want more lasagna.
That's what we all want.
We've deprived them of lasagna. So essentially, this is a restructuring of 5 Quadrant. This episode.
Yeah. You won't notice, but I mean.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how noticeable it is, but we will try to find a happy medium, I guess.
I think we should just go with the flow. Like if it comes out more informative, that's how the episode is. If it's not, it's just us talking, and that's fine.
I completely agree, and I think that's what we'll do. There might be some essay episodes. There might be some
homework.
Yeah. Well, we'll have a producer, so who knows what?
Crap. Yeah.
Who knows what he'll be up to?
We'll see what happens.
Now I don't have like a super structured movie theme or anything today for us to talk about, but I did. There's this idea that's kind of bouncing around in my head that I thought maybe we could talk about, which is that I went to see Manchester by the Sea on Friday night. I loved it. Okay. I thought it was absolutely fantastic.
See, I was worried from the first trailer that I saw because it just looked like a sappy like coming of age. It looked almost like an adaptation essentially, but sappy. And,
there's aspects of that
starring Casey Affleck, Ben's younger brother.
I thought it was just a devastating movie.
Okay,
it was much more sad than coming of age or like redemptive or anything. And well, okay, so I think it's an incredible achievement to be able to make people basically laugh and cry interchangeably for 2 hours in a movie. That's tough.
Yeah, 2 hours is pretty long too for a laugh and cry movie.
Yeah, and it wasn't like laugh, and then some sad thing happens, then cry, or it wasn't like cry and then it's funny afterwards.
Oh, okay.
This was like it could switch just from every couple minutes.
Oh man,
there's something that just breaks your heart, and then there's something that's hilarious, and then I thought it was just beautifully pulled off.
That sounds great.
Good job, Matt Damon, producing that, not directing
Final
that.
Cut. Good job, Matt.
And I want to see it again, and it was interesting. I can't
go see it.
I'd love to see it again. I'll totally see it with you, but I cannot remember a time when I've sat in a theater and so many people in the audience were crying.
Oh, really? Wow.
There was the one funny thing is there's this old lady who's sitting a couple seats down from me, and she's crying the whole time. And she's got one of those like like sometimes you cry and you just can't breathe, and so she's
she keeps like sniffling.
Yeah, she's making all these noises. Her husband's sitting next to her, just just yawning.
Oh yeah, okay.
So like she's like got her stuffy nose from crying, and he's just. like 10 minutes.
That's awesome.
But it didn't distract. But I thought it's weird how we all go to the movies. Like to want to go to a movie to go cry with 200 people is a weird.
It's
thing.
very cathartic.
It is, but I like it. There's something that's kind of fun about it, and I don't know why. And then I just kind of been in a sad movie kick this weekend now. So last night I rewatched the movie Beginners. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Yeah, I've never even heard of that one.
It's got Ewan McGregor and Christopher Plummer, and it is about Ewan McGregor is kind of this withdrawn guy after his father had died of cancer, and so it kind of jumps around in time. But basically he meets this girl it's Melanie Laurent, she was Shoshana in Inglourious Bastards.
Okay.
And they're kind of just starting like a relationship. They both kind of have their whatever issues, and it's just kind of a realistic thing there. And it's like the timeline is all jumbled up with the last years of his dad's life as he's kind of processing that. And his dad is basically, so his mom died. His dad's in his 70s and comes out as being gay. And says he's been gay his whole life.
Oh, okay.
Despite being married to a woman for most of his life and having the kid. And so
he's faking it.
So he's having this kind of like flamboyant last part of his life as he's dying of cancer. And then the son, Ewan McGregor, is dealing with it. And he's in this new relationship and all this. And he's like got his dad's dog. And it's not like it's not a tearjerker movie. It was marketed as a comedy, which is definitely not a comedy. Yeah. But it's one of those ones where like it's funny in the way that life can be funny or quirky, but then it's also got just this there's tragedy kind of at the center of it. And so I'm watching that, and I don't know. Now I'm trying to diagnose what it is that I like about being sad when I watch something. Yeah, when's the last time you cried at a movie?
I don't think I ever have.
I bet there's something.
I don't know.
Something.
I'm trying to think, and it's like. I don't know. I really don't think I have cried in a movie. I'm sorry.
When you think of like a stereotypically, actually, genuinely tragic movie, what do you think of?
I don't know.
Is there not a single movie that makes you like
not really
sad? There's nothing.
I don't know. I don't think so. Not anything I can think of off the top of my head.
Interesting.
I'm trying to think. I'm racking my brain.
It is hard. It's hard to make a movie that makes you really, really sad, but that's not a terrible movie. Like I was really sad watching. I don't know. There's probably plenty of movies I've watched from. Like when I watched The Dark Knight Rises, I was very sad. But it wasn't like
that one wasn't a tearjerker.
Not a tearjerker way, but it was like this is disappointing.
I'm sure everyone in the audience was crying during that one too. I
remember after that one, just everybody was kind of like,
they like look around.
I really want to think that was better than that was. Like I hope there's something I missed here.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm even like picturing like my DVD rack at home, trying to think of anything that would make me sad.
You don't really go to those movies that much.
No, I don't think I have.
And there's not a good argument to go to that many of those movies because they're generally not that good.
No.
Like I'd say for every Manchester by the Sea, you've got like 15 years of bad movies that want to be Manchester by the Sea.
Nothing.
I'm
racking my brain. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something about the catharsis of a lot of people crying at once that's interesting to me.
Y'all can group cry.
Yeah, but we don't talk to each other. Like we don't get any. There's no bonding out of it.
This is your Fight Club therapy session. It's like you go cry with everybody else.
I think I'm trying to like diagnose myself, but I think that
I think you're normal. I think it's fine.
I think I get in these periods where I become really focused on what I'm doing, and so it'll be like a week where I'm just working nonstop on something, and then I think like all of my humanity just gets like repressed enough that it's fun to go to a movie and just let it all out. I think that might be part of what it is because on this weekend I'm just like
your humanity's being repressed.
Yeah,
that's funny.
I'm working on all these things, and then I just want to watch these really tragic movies when I'm done working for the day.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at this weekend. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been working a lot recently, and I just been kind of.
What's your release?
I go home and I sleep. Like it's I just sleep the pain away. I don't know. My reptiles are my company.
Have you gotten a new snake?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Tuesday though, I will.
Oh, what's the story?
I'll have money on Tuesday.
Well, do you have?
I'll have like leftover money for buying a new baby. And the exotic pet shop that I go to is they're moving to Colorado.
What?
So I have to jump on the opportunity.
So you have to move to Colorado?
Yeah, I know, right? Or I just got to keep driving back and forth to get snakes. But now
to get snakes, that's almost a euphemism. At
the guy showed me the breeder that he buys from has his own website online and he ships stuff out. So I could go there.
What's his name?
His name? I don't know the breeder's name, but he has a website.
Is he weird?
He has a company. Like it's like a whole little.
Does he wear a tie?
No, of course not. Why would you wear a tie?
What does a snake breeder look like? Who owns a company?
Like a dude in a t-shirt and a pair of jeans.
What kind of t-shirt?
Like usually just like a blank colored t-shirt,
okay.
Or like
what's his hair like?
Sometimes you get like the D-bags, like with like they got like the skulls and like they're the stereotypical snake people type
shirts. How many
shirts.
feet is his beard?
I don't think this guy has a beard. I haven't actually seen him though. I haven't seen this guy, but the guy at the shop's pretty normal.
But he's not a breeder.
No, I don't know. I don't know if he actually breeds.
I'm saying, like, when I picture a snake breeder, I don't picture a guy in a suit. That's all. That's all I'm really
No, well, and they're not. That's not what they do. I mean,
but there's
you probably don't go into the snake breeding business so you can like wear a suit and go to business meetings.
We're gonna run a reputable snake business.
Yeah, right. And it's like, yeah, no. So I mean, I got into contact with him, and he has some cool stuff available. So I might order things from him, but you have to pay like $40 shipping.
Does he have a weird name?
No. I think it's just Josh.
It's not like T-Bone.
No T-Bone. No.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about it as far as that goes. I mean, I don't know.
I think with every animal, in terms of the breeder, I feel like you pick any animal and you're like, it's a cat breeder. You have assumptions about it. You have dog breeder, snake breeder. I feel like might be the biggest wild card.
You don't see as many of those. So, you don't really know what you're getting into.
You have no idea what you're going to get with that.
I feel like dog breeders, you always get like the kind of semi-country couple who has like a big farm with a bunch of dogs on it.
Lakes.
That was like the few times, we've gotten a dog from a breeder. That's always what it's like,
Yeah.
They have like a barn full of dogs, and it's just like
that does seem to be that strikes me as very accurate.
Yeah,
they wouldn't have a huge beard. They wouldn't be T-Bone.
I figured a cat breeder's just people who have too many cats.
Yeah, it's like
one happened to get pregnant.
My cat got pregnant before I got it spayed.
Yeah,
here, have some.
Now I'm a cat breeder.
I got Schrodinger out in Blair. It was like kind of out in the middle of nowhere.
Okay,
it was like on the outskirts of Blair, and I think it was just their cat just got pregnant. So there must be a Maine Coon running around out there.
Oh man,
Maine Coon, because
very buff Maine Coon.
Schrodinger's half Maine Coon. So.
Oh man, it's not even Maine. Like, this is
it's weird. Are
they native to Maine? Is that where that comes from?
I assume so. Some of them get huge.
Oh, I've seen. Yeah, well, even Schrodinger's a big cat.
He's a big cat.
He's a pretty large guy. But I don't know. I tried buying a snake from Petco. I told you about that, and it just had bugs on it. Freaking sick as hell. And I took it back.
What kind of bugs were on it?
Mites.
Yeah, that's gross.
I had to clean and sanitize every little thing in my room because of that, just in case.
Did Petco do anything with it?
They took the snake back,
but they probably didn't clean and sanitize everything.
No.
Well, that's depressing.
I know, it was really annoying too.
Petco.
Yeah. And then I looked it up, and sure enough, everyone's like, "Oh, never buy a snake from Petco because they don't know how to take care of them."
Isn't that sad though? Because then all these animals are stuck at Petco for the rest of their lives. You're like, I want to save them all.
I know.
Everyone's
that's the problem.
Don't give money to the Humane Society. But you're like, but then all those animals are there.
There was a ball python at the Humane Society, and I thought about it, and I was like, "Oh, I could just get this one," but it was already pretty old.
Do people just surrender their snakes to the Humane Society?
What tends to happen is people get them when they're babies, and they're a foot or two long when they're babies, and they're a manageable size, and then they get big. They get to be 5 feet long and pretty damn fat, and then
people don't know what to do.
Yeah, they get intimidated by the snake because it's much bigger than they expected, and they take it, to the Humane Society. So.
That's better than just letting them loose, because isn't there problems in the South where people are just like, eh?
Yeah, in the South there probably would be, but here it'd probably honestly just die. It wouldn't be
cold.
it wouldn't survive the winter here unless it was inside. But even then, they tend to get in places where there's they'll crawl into vents where there's a furnace, and that usually doesn't end up too well for the snake either. Or under your refrigerator, stuff like that. Usually if a snake gets out, it's dead. It's kind of like what you're supposed to assume.
We've turned this into a pet show.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, well, you got me talking about the snake.
Pet Talk.
Yeah.
Welcome to Pet Talk with Tom and Chris.
Yeah.
And we're back. I just did a voiceover for this car commercial.
Yes.
Chevy Cruze.
Sounds fantastic. Was it for a Chevy Cruze?
It was, I guess.
I heard it was for the Chevy app.
There's an app, and there's the two lines where it's like, okay, we're not quite there yet, but we're getting close. Check out, or something like, with the new Chevy app. No. Then it's something like, presenting the new Chevy Cruze was my second line.
Why does your car need an app, though?
I don't know.
What it does.
I haven't seen the commercial. I don't know anything about it. Ben just sent over some lines and said, hey, can you do this and send it over to me? And so I did. But that was my first car commercial I've ever done voiceover for.
That's cool.
I feel like nobody who knows me would ever guess that I would do voiceover for a car commercial.
Someone's gonna hear it and be like, that voice sounds familiar.
That's not Tom.
Tom's too sophisticated for commercials. Come on.
For car commercials.
Yeah, right.
It's not like
the last place we'd ever think to hear your voice.
Where would you expect me to do a commercial? What kind
an NPR book commercial? That's what I'd expect. The new book from
Yeah, it's not even sale at half price books. It's who's an author?
The new Nicholas Sparks novel.
No, it's Today on the show, or today on KIOS, listen to Thomas Pynchon. That'd be a good gig, because everyone would want to know, Thomas Pynchon's going to be on today? What? He's talking to people?
Does he not do that? Is he kind of
No, he's a recluse.
Ah.
I think
he's like a Salinger, eh?
Apparently he's in Inherent Vice somewhere, but no one knows where. Because
he's probably like hiding. He probably doesn't even show up. He's just like in something in the scene somewhere.
Yes. No one knew who he was. I think it's like Josh Brolin or somebody let it slip that Thomas Pynchon, and he didn't even know what Thomas Pynchon looks like or anything, because there's a couple pictures out there of him.
Wow. But he's like that?
Yeah, he's one of those kind of guys. But apparently he and Paul Thomas Anderson kept up correspondence over the course of the movie, and he's in some scene somewhere. And he probably just didn't even tell Paul when he was showing up, and he just kind of like walked by in the back of the scene. Well, it sounds like Paul Thomas Anderson pretends like he doesn't know what he looks like or anything like that, and keeps it up. Yeah, he's playing the game with him. But yeah, I don't think that's entirely accurate.
That's fun though.
One guess is when Joaquin Phoenix is talking to Owen Wilson, and they're in the band's house. There's people walking by the window on the outside, and there's some guy in like a trench coat who walks by and looks at him and then walks past. I don't know if there's any evidence to suggest that's him, but that's one of the. I've read that's a potential guess, because he's not just like sitting somewhere like in plain sight that we know of.
The world may never know.
I guess maybe he's Puck Beaverton. He's just buff now. What's a Puck Beaverton?
I need to watch that movie again.
Me too. I love that movie. That was a great movie.
I watched it not long after I finished the book, and it's pretty much word for word. I was surprised.
But the ending's a little different.
Yes.
Is my understanding.
Yeah. Okay. Like, just like slightly, essentially.
I love that last scene so much. When he looks in the rearview mirror, literally looking at the glow of the past behind him, it's just so beautiful. It's one of those ideas that probably, I guess I'm increasingly impressed by these ideas that probably sound terrible when you say them, but then you can pull them off anyway. Like a movie or a book full of ideas that don't seem like they should work that do work is so much cooler to me now than just something that seems like it'll work and does work.
Taking the easy way out, do something interesting instead.
Put a bunch of things together that have no reason to actually
see what happens,
and then make them work, and that's crazy. That's where I'm at right now. I could sense like every year where I'm at in terms of what I like in art. Okay, it's slightly different from year to year. That's where I'm at right now. That and crying, I guess. I like when people cry. I like when it makes me cry and it doesn't work. Those are my two criteria. I saw there's a new movie. You liked Troll Hunter, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's enjoyable. I feel bad saying that I liked it, because I know it's not like, a highbrow film like we normally enjoy.
I should do a trailer for Troll Hunter.
Yeah, you should. Well, I mean, it's only like, 10 years old now, so I mean.
Criterion release, Troll Hunter. But the guy who made Troll Hunter has a new movie out.
That's fun.
Or coming out. What is it?
Is it another Norwegian found footage?
No,
film?
It's in English.
Oh. Well, I mean, Troll Hunter was in English too,
really?
But it was Norwegian, like it's a Norwegian dude or whatever.
Do they have accents?
Yeah.
Is there Norwegian slang?
Yeah. Well,
like what? And what's Norwegian slang?
I don't know, but I mean, it's there.
Do they have like different words for things?
I don't know. Okay. I haven't watched it long enough to pick up on the specific slang, but yeah, they definitely have accents, and most of it takes place in Norway.
How do they say troll in their accent?
Troll. It's a Norwegian thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The whole thing's based on like Norwegian like folktale troll stuff.
Norwegian folktale troll stuff.
Yeah.
There's a title. So this new one is about people in a morgue who are going to do an autopsy.
Okay.
And it's some woman who's been murdered, and her tongue's been cut out, and yada yada yada. And so it's like a guy and his dad are having some family bonding time,
doing some
cutting
autopsies.
A woman open, and so they go in and they find some cloth that has some weird symbol in the woman's mouth, or like down her throat.
Sounds like an X-Files episode.
It does, yeah. So then, I don't know. Then something weird happens where the power goes out, and then the body's gone. Oh, shit. And so I don't know. Some weird.
That sounds interesting. Okay.
I don't know if it's gonna be good, but it's a good idea. Yeah. So I thought I would see it with you potentially. Okay. We could talk about it, because I know you had nice things to say about Troll Hunter. Yeah. This doesn't look particularly funny, but maybe the trailer is just cut to look more serious. I don't know.
I don't know. Troll Hunter wasn't really funny either.
I thought you said it was kind of more like kind of funny, kind of scary, kind of crazy.
There's some comic relief in there, just with mostly like the authorities trying to brush everything off. They always have like a stupid explanation for what's going on. Like there'll be just like a mutilated body, like, oh yeah, it must have been a bear. Like, there aren't any bears around here. It's like, well, he must have left, and it's just like, it's just stupid stuff like that.
It seems more likely to think it could be a bear that's not around there than a troll that's not around there.
Right.
But yeah, so that's coming out, and then also I think that's next month, and also next month there's the new M. Night Shyamalan, which I guess.
Which one was that?
Split. Have you seen anything for
No, I mean I feel like he doesn't usually. I guess The Visit or whatever had a bunch of trailers that I saw, but.
You want me to spoil what this one's about?
Yes, I think you told me at one point, so you might as well.
So, it's about James McAvoy, or McAvoy, I don't know how you say his name. He kidnaps 3 teenage girls from a parking lot, and they're down in his little weird underground bunker thing or whatever.
Okay.
And
John Goodman shows up.
Turns out, yeah, it's kind of like that, except he has, I don't know, like 23 different personalities. He's got...
Oh, it's this thing, yeah.
Yeah, and so he's kidnapped them.
Specifically 23 different ones?
I want to say it's something like that. I keep seeing it. He has 23.
It's a different number
That's
each
how
time.
I know. Yeah, I wouldn't know that otherwise. But he's got a bunch, and so they're trying to escape, and he's got all the personalities, and he... You know, they don't know which one they're going to deal with. And he's talking about this other one that's coming. The Beast is coming.
Uh-oh.
I'm not a huge fan of that premise. It sounds okay. It sounds just like Psycho light to me.
Okay.
But, and I don't... I hesitate to even say this. I was listening to... You know, he's been doing screenings. And so someone just had like 20 minutes of Q&A or whatever. And he was talking about... Basically, one aspect of the script comes from... a previous project that he was working on, and everyone says that this movie has this huge crazy twist that absolutely no one will ever think of.
That's what they say about every single one.
But I think I might have figured out what it is based on what he said.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to know.
Because he didn't say
Can you like write it down? You can tell me if you were right later.
No, I'm gonna tell you now.
I don't want to know, because then you're gonna be right. Because we always guess the twists right beforehand.
This is one that I have no idea how it could possibly work, and I don't.
That's exactly why it would work. Because that's what they're saying about it.
No, it's just you. There's nothing that they've given you that gives you enough context to be able to figure this out, and it might not even actually relate. But he said something in the interview about the writing process that makes me wonder. Oh man, is that where this is going? Is that what this is going to be?
I don't know if I want you to tell me, because I mean, if we're gonna go see it, then it's gonna ruin it.
No, it's not, because you don't know. I don't know.
But I will know.
I could be wrong.
As soon as I see it, we're going to have another moment like The Visit, where you're just like, oh, there it is, you know. And it's
The Visit, you could tell the twist like 4 minutes in.
I know. Well, it's going to be the same thing, because everyone's like, oh, there's a twist, you know, because it's M. Night, that's what he does.
When you think about what the twist could possibly be for Split, I think the main idea is that the girls are all his personalities too, and he's just kidnapped himself. I don't know.
Probably. He's the kidnapped one.
Yeah.
They kidnapped him or something.
Yeah, something like that. Doesn't that seem like that's got to be the obvious one?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So otherwise they escape somehow, and that's probably the gist of that story. But there's this other thing that I think
just tell me. Whatever. Okay. I know you're not going to let us move on until you tell me. So.
Well, it might be completely wrong, because I don't know how it works.
Yeah. All right. Whatever. Let's hear it.
So everyone has said that it's some twist that completely recontextualizes the whole movie.
Okay.
And so some people are saying it goes too far.
It's going to have to be very well done then, or else it's going to be super noticeable from the start.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what he said in the interview that I heard was, when he was writing the original script for Unbreakable, the idea was that it would have... There was like a 3-act story. Unbreakable was basically the first act of that main story.
Okay.
And so it was supposed to be...
So the twist is he's actually Bruce Willis.
No. Oh. But closer. I think that's been the joke that everyone has said has been like the twist for every movie he's made since Unbreakable. The twist is that the lady in the water is Bruce Willis.
Really?
No.
I was hoping I was being clever for that one.
No. He said that, so basically, you've seen Unbreakable, right?
No.
You've never seen Unbreakable?
No. I know he's Superman.
Yeah, okay, well, the idea, he's talked about how he wants to do a sequel to Unbreakable for a very long time.
Okay.
And he said that in the very early idea of writing Unbreakable, there was going to be this character who became the guy with all the personalities that he used in Split.
Okay.
And he's talked about doing a sequel and how he'd do like the one movie like this, and then he'd do kind of like a fight movie, and then he'd do that. And basically he wants to continue doing Unbreakable movies, but it wasn't received well enough that encouraged him to do it like that.
I heard it was good.
Unbreakable's a good movie.
Okay.
I like Unbreakable. But... So my takeaway from that, and it could be completely out there, is that Split is is a secret Unbreakable sequel. That's not quite a sequel so much as like in that universe. Yeah. That's somehow
in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
It's the setup for whatever real Unbreakable thing he does next. And I think that big twist that completely recontextualizes everything is that it's in the Unbreakable world, and that it's...
See, that's not as big of a spoiler as I expected. I thought you might have figured something bigger out about...
Well, how many things can happen with the personalities?
I don't know.
There's like four ways.
Once you throw in the whole split personality thing, I feel like you just know one of them is going to be him or whatever. And
it's like a more expensive Criminal Minds episode. I feel like.
Yeah.
But without I hate in Criminal Minds how when they do their little like press conferences that they're all talking to each other, how coordinated it is when all of them speak and they all jump nicely off what the other one's saying. Right. Like, how much better would Criminal Minds be if they all just talked over each other?
There's this really great clip from an episode of CSI where two people are typing on a keyboard at the same time. Like, they both like get on the keyboard and it's like... That's fantastic, but yeah, no, I can't stand Criminal Minds. Didn't the main guy got fired or whatever for
Hatch?
He kicked like the director in the shins or something like that.
He kicked the writer.
I think. Writer. Okay. He's like,
my understanding of that is
so funny.
Yeah, like basically he's like, I want to change this line, and the writer comes up to him, he's like, hey, you didn't say that line right. Then he gets mad and kicks him or something.
Yeah, and then they fire him. It's so funny. That's why you don't kick your cast members.
I think it's weird how some of the fan bases in some of these shows get mad when people get fired for assaulting people on the show. Like what's the car one where the guy punched his producer and he got fired. It was on BBC.
Oh, was it what? I know the name. Top Gear.
Top Gear, yeah. The guy punches his producer.
Is that why they stopped doing that? They switched.
And so they fired him, and then the other two guys quit, and then they all got hired by Amazon.
Yeah, now they're on the Grand Tour.
And I get that everybody liked that show, and they're like, BBC is not going to have another hit like that now. That was crazy, but I don't think it's unreasonable to punch. Or I don't think it's reasonable to punch a producer. No, good thing our producer's not here today.
Said it backwards.
I don't think it's unreasonable for you as a company to say we do not support our stars firing our start firing. I keep getting all my verbs wrong. My verbs are all messed up. We don't support our stars punching people on the crew.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a pretty reasonable policy. You know, it's like if you punch someone, you're probably gonna get fired.
But online, there's like people trying to shame the BBC into bringing him back, and I'm thinking like, no, you don't punch people at work.
Yeah, no, that's exactly
There's
what you don't do.
There's very few jobs where you can go punch somebody just because you're mad and get away with it.
Yeah, or kick them in the shins.
Yeah. Just don't physically assault people.
Yeah, I mean you can
unless you want to be president. Then you're fine.
If you own the company, you could probably kick somebody and not get fired. But I mean, you'll still have to deal with lawsuits at the very least, probably.
Well, yeah. I mean, so I don't know. I watched that show a couple times, but I'm just not enough of a car guy. What if I was the announcer?
I've honestly never really watched any of it either. So everyone says it's good, but I don't know. Other people driving cars isn't very interesting to me.
You need to be driving the cars.
Yeah, I mean, if I was driving the car, sure, it'd be a fun show. But
why don't we just do? It's like Anthony Bourdain. So we just go to all these cool places, eat food, get drunk, and then you drive cars around.
Okay.
And then I do the announcement talking about the cars.
I can drive. We can have a little podcast going in the show, in the car.
You can fly. What about planes? Do you like planes?
I don't know.
Would you want to fly a plane?
Yeah.
Have you ever been in a plane?
No.
So you really don't know?
No. What do you mean I don't know? I mean, I could want to fly a plane and not have been in one.
But you don't know how you'll react to flying one. Yeah. You don't know till you
maybe
get...
like a small plane. I'm assuming I won't be driving flying It's like, can we borrow this Boeing? And take it for a spin for Top Gear.
It'd be such a weird
Tom Gear.
Wasn't the guy's name is Chris? It's like Chris Pine, the one who replaced him.
Chris Pine?
It's Chris Pine, but it's not Captain America Chris Pine.
It's
a British Chris Pine.
Okay.
It's the off-brand Chris Pine.
That's funny. Yeah, he's probably the original. England.
England had it first. Yeah. They had Chris Pine before we did. I remember no one liked Chris Pine until Captain America.
What else was he in?
He was in...
Is he Captain Kirk?
No. Oh, you're right. I'm getting him wrong. Chris Pine is Captain Kirk. Who is... What's Captain America's name? Chris Evans. I think it's Chris Evans on Top Gear.
There are too many Chris's.
Yeah, they're all
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans is Top Gear. Is off-brand Top Gear.
Okay. But is it the real Chris Evans or is it off-brand Chris Evans then?
Off-brand Chris Evans.
Okay. Okay.
The original Chris Evans.
Yeah.
Is at Top Gear now.
Gotcha.
He's the new Jeremy Clarkson.
Yeah.
So many names to keep straight. Yeah. It's just ridiculous.
It's only going to get worse.
There's always more people.
Yeah.
And then, everyone's dying now, though, so that's helping, I think.
Yeah.
I saw the man behind the chicken die.
I saw that. That's so sad.
98. I love that. I've never heard of, this person invented a sauce to put on chicken.
Well,
he's dead now, everybody. Make sure you're aware. Grieve accordingly. Why was that in...
Well, because everyone has General Tso's at one point.
Everyone does, but I've never heard, when did the guy who invented mayonnaise die?
Probably a long time ago. Mayo's been around for a while.
Do you think that was in the news?
Mayo's been around for a while. The guy who invented the Big Mac died, and they made a big deal about that.
Okay. But maybe I just haven't been aware. I'm more informed now.
I think after that documentary, everyone's like, hey, we know who this guy is now. Then he died, and yeah.
Well, do you think when the guy who invented cashew chicken dies, Has he died?
I don't know. There was news about him recently though.
What?
It was invented in Springfield, Missouri.
Yeah.
And I got like a thing on Facebook, and it's like, haha, like us on Facebook because you're from, or like your family's from Springfield or something. I'm like, okay.
And so, I guess it's just in the news now whenever
there's innovation in the Chinese chicken industry and
by white people.
Yeah. Well, no. You need to watch the documentary.
Was General So?
It was a Japanese, or not Japanese man, sorry, Chinese man. But you have to realize that it was these recipes. Everyone's like, oh, it was Americanized by the evil white people. It was Americanized by the Chinese people selling to white people.
So it was like indirectly by the evil white people.
It's like if I went to Mexico and I opened up a taco stand
to sell tacos.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be like if you went to Mexico to sell burgers? But you made them more Mexican. You Mexicanized your burgers to sell them to the Mexicans. And so it's you've like assimilated your burgers.
Which is what happens when you move to a new market and you have to get the people there to buy it. So I mean, it wasn't really like I don't know.
Evil imperialist chicken.
It wasn't us being mean, be like, we don't like your chicken, fix it. It was more of they're like, hey, we can make more money if we sell what they like.
Are there any authentic Chinese restaurants in Omaha?
King Fong's probably your closest. I mean,
that's a pretty normal.
It's not
Chinese
like the dredged in sauce and deep fried. Though.
That's true.
I mean, it's more of actually like cooked on a wok and
Alexander Payne is single-handedly preserving Chinese culture in Omaha. Well, that used to be Chinatown, didn't it? In Omaha?
Yeah, I think so.
And there's just two restaurants right next to each other.
We used to have a Little Italy too, but that place is pretty much all gone.
Where was Little Italy?
It was, I think it was closer to like 13th, like North O-ish. It was like in between downtown and North O. Okay. Or in between downtown and South O. Sorry.
Okay.
And like there's still like some really good. It's called the Orsi's. It's a pizza place down there. They still make really good like Italian pizza and whatnot.
What kind of oven?
I don't know. I haven't asked. I'm sorry.
That's my biggest thing with pizza. Because
really, that's your pizza specification? Is you have to have the right oven?
I like the brick ovens.
Okay,
those are good.
Get a good crust on the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's probably a brick oven. I don't know.
Well, we should go there.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, if we're gonna become Anthony Bourdain,
we gotta start nearby.
Yeah.
Then we can upgrade to like Cambodia and whatnot later.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's how it works.
Yeah.
I was listening to Anthony Bourdain was on Fresh Air, I think, recently. He wrote a new book. Yeah. And I just turned it on, and he's talking about literally stabbing a pig in the heart.
Oh man.
And he's I don't even know what context this all made sense because
I was drinking with the natives. And they're like, hey, let's have some pig.
Well, so I turned it on. He's like, well, I've been complicit in the death of millions of animals and yada yada yada. Like I've never actually killed them, but. So then he starts talking about the story. There's like a squealing pig that he has to stab in the heart. Like, this is really intense for Fresh Air. I mean,
yeah, for Fresh Air, I could see.
Very gross.
Yeah, she's just like, oh.
I wouldn't tell a gross story about stabbing a pig in the heart to Terry Gross.
No, I don't think I would.
I just want to talk about nice things with her.
Yeah. Well, she's a very calm interviewer too. Like she's kind of.
I like Terry Gross.
Yeah, she's all right.
I feel like I could have fun with Terry Gross. I could go to a movie with Terry Gross.
I feel like she talks about some boring books and stuff most of the time. But I mean,
wouldn't you want that job?
You get a good one.
Don't you want the job of just sitting around reading books and talking about them?
Carol Off makes me laugh because she does the how did that make you feel? Like, and that's like her go-to question, and it takes her like 10 seconds to get to it.
I don't think I'd like Carol Off. I couldn't go to a movie with her.
I'm always disappointed that Jeff doesn't do more interviews. And
what's Jeff do?
He just kind of shows up, does like an intro, and then he gives you the little news blurb where he makes a silly pun and then he disappears. And then,
I've noticed that.
Yeah.
I think it needs more Jeff.
Yeah, absolutely. Him and his ridiculous Canadian accent.
We don't have enough Jeff.
I discovered in my late night drive the other night that they play like international news at like midnight or so.
Yes.
They switch over to like the English station and whatnot, and it's fantastic. You like
so
much more interesting news there. Like it's just ridiculous. Like.
Is that just straight up news then?
Usually, yeah.
Is that BBC?
It's still an NPR station, I think. But I mean, it's
international PR, IPR.
Well, yeah, they have an international public radio station. But like they switched from like Canada to like a few other like countries like throughout the hour. It's pretty interesting. Yeah.
I think the Canada news just doesn't do it for me.
I love the Canadian news. It's so much happier than it is here.
It's so insubstantial.
They were talking about how they were like electing a national bird, and it was like this whole big big deal all throughout Canada.
I remember one time I was listening, and they were talking about how people keep peeing on their Capitol building. What a world where that's their big problem.
Like, like it wasn't illegal, so all they could do was like just kindly say like, "Could you stop?" And it's like. I liked Canada on my little trip up there. I'd definitely go back.
You're going to go back.
Oh,
you'll make it back to Canada.
I'm really upset that now everybody wants to go to Canada, and it just makes me sound
You liked Canada before it was cool?
It makes me sound like some annoying liberal who's like, wow, you know what, screw this country, I'm moving to Canada, you know, and that's not what it is.
You're probably more centrist in general, so you can probably get away with.
I'm more of like, Canada's pretty cool. I think it'd be fun to live there.
Yeah, it's not a direct comment on our politics. Just
no, but now everyone's going to assume that it is.
Yes, and they'll just assume that you're lying about it. You're stuck.
I am.
You have to find where else could you run off to?
Nowhere else is really like close enough. Like
I like this idea of Cal exit.
Yeah,
California can just make its own nice little country.
I mean, I'm technically a California native, so I should be allowed back, right?
That's cool.
Yeah.
We'll get married and I'll get citizenship.
And I can divorce you as soon as you do it. I mean, hopefully I could just be a referral or something. You know?
That's true. Yeah. They're probably not going to.
We don't have to jump to marriage.
It's not. Yeah. Let's not necessarily
preemptively get married, hoping that Canada or California is going to split off.
California's not taking refugees.
Yeah.
Yeah. What if it's just not that different? It's just another one.
I mean, doesn't California pretty much suck compared to the rest of the U.S. anyways?
It depends on your qualifications.
Cost of living is like 10 times more than it is here.
It's not the same thing.
I got to fight with a bunch of people who aren't like citizens for low-paying jobs over there. I mean, migrant labor is pretty much like one of the biggest draws.
If you just have this conversation with the people who accuse you of going to Canada for liberal reasons, then they'll see that you're not really that you're not that far left.
That's who, I mean, that's what like supports the whole wine industry in California is cheap migrant labor. I mean, you go up there, work for a few seasons.
Hey, but we also own a production company. We can just.
That's true, yeah. We can be like,
move that over there.
Yeah, it'd be fun. Don't we just have to like change like the address?
We don't need to fight migrants to write our movies.
To get paid for them, we do there.
Well, we just make movies for migrants.
What if we have like some migrant competition, like migrant production companies?
Padre Hijo.
They go down from country to country.
I like that. Like we would show up on set to our movie and have to get there before all the migrants because they're already directing the scene.
They're hanging out in front of like a Suncoast movies, like with their cameras, and they're sitting out front too. Who wants to film a documentary? And everyone like runs towards the truck and
Comedia.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would be fun to make a movie not in Omaha.
It would.
Someday I'd like to pull it off.
I think we can go to Colorado. That'd be a fun one. Anywhere with like nice, more of like a landscape, I think, than what we have here.
We'll get some landscapes for Green on Green.
That'd be fun.
You'll see when we go out to the cabin we'll do like a weekend shoot there.
Yes. And, I finally get to see the murder cabin.
You get to see the murder cabin. You'll get to stay at the murder cabin, and we won't have to shoot 40 pages a day at the murder cabin. Unlike last time I was there. You don't know that yet. There's not even 40 pages to shoot at the cabin. There's I think 30, so 10 pages a day.
Okay.
Which is not 40 a day.
Yeah, no.
And so I think we can pull it off, and it will be good, and we'll have time at the end of the night.
And we can have sloppy joes. And,
don't tell Ben.
Yeah.
Don't tell Ben we're having sloppy joes. I think we really need to do an episode where I just walk through. I want Ben there, so you can be kind of the interviewer walking us through when we made Almost a Weekend, the whole story of Almost a Weekend, because people want to know why don't we show people
I feel like I've heard so many stories from it, though, already, that it's kind of like I already know
that's good.
The horrible
you can
things.
Navigate the conversation, though, because...
Steer the conversation, so to speak.
Yeah, you probably haven't heard Ben's side of all of it. It's probably just me ranting to you.
Yeah.
But... people want to know, and I'm not looking to...
I can get some clips from some of the other cast members, see what they have to say about it, too.
Actually, I found like a minute of our Q&A at the Prairie Lights Film Festival, and there's just like a couple snippets of footage of us down there. Yeah. And it made me think, why don't you interview everybody involved in that movie?
Okay.
And we've got a little bit of extra footage. We got a bunch of footage from the movie we can put together. It can be a documentary about our first movie.
Yeah.
But I can't be the one interviewing people because I made the movie. So.
All right. Yeah.
Like I can't ask Abby Berg
a question.
What was it like making this movie?
And stare at her and be like, "How was it?"
Right. Yeah. What are you gonna tell them?
Yeah. Right.
Because it shouldn't be bad mouthing them. Because I think the thing to recognize is nobody had any training on how to do anything we were doing, and so. The problems that happened with the cast were more of the fact that we had a schedule that was not going to allow us to succeed anyway.
Well, and you made it up as you went,
And it was just a mess all around. So I guess what I don't want it to turn into is just like, look how terrible these actors were, because they were not in a position to succeed, even though we thought that everyone was. We were like, why can't you shoot a movie in 4 days? I remember the very first shot of the movie. that we filmed was we were outside a house in a car so it's Ben's character drives up. It's him and Annalie, and they're sitting in there. I'm with the camera in the back.
Yeah.
And
typical.
Ben. So we'd shot outside, or an exterior shot of the car parking first, and then I got in there and we were filming the inside of it. And Ben turns to me really serious after I get in, as we're kind of getting ready to go, and he was like, "Did I have my seatbelt on in that last shot?" And I was like, "I don't know. Did you have your seatbelt on?" It's like, I always used to think, like, how can there ever be continuity errors in movies? This is 10 minutes into the day. We're already like,
first scene.
I don't know if you had
shot.
your seatbelt on.
Oh, man. I'm still surprised at some of the ones that showed up in adaptation. Like, there's a few that are just like, how did we miss that?
The stupid shirt. You ruined
that
the whole movie
was so
for
funny.
Me.
I didn't even notice it until we were playing it at
we were doing a commentary track.
Yeah. Oh, that was afterwards then.
It was after Exarban.
Oh my goodness.
We'd all watched the movie billions of times.
Big
and
screen.
Nobody noticed.
Jeez.
I don't know how we missed that.
My mom noticed one with a pair of shoes.
Yeah.
Like, that was
when he's running.
Yeah.
She's
like, those aren't his Sperry's, and I'm like, nope, they're not.
Well, that was different because that was literally, we had a couple pickup shots that were shot way after.
That one's so much
stuff.
less noticeable than like the T-shirt just changing.
But no one notices the T-shirt.
I think everyone just assumes that that's a totally different scene. Like it's just some other.
They're just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, the thing with the shirts in adaptation is, I literally had the whole script marked out in days. So I took Will's script. And I divided it all up. So I was like, this is day 1, day 2. I think it was like 21 or 22 days.
This is what you wear for each one.
This is what you wear for each one. And on top of that, on the collar of every shirt, I wrote down the number on every single day in the script for when he would need to do it. Because I didn't memorize them all. And I thought, Will's a capable guy of figuring out when to wear them. It was every single day. What day is this one? The same day as this one? And so
Tom, what day is it?
We learned over the course of it, we had to micromanage that a little bit more. And I think we were already at the point where that scene with that continuity error was shot towards the end. And I don't know what the mistake was, because I think
But it happened.
I thought maybe we were just exhausted.
I thought they were both filmed like this. No, they weren't filmed at the same spot, were they?
He goes outside and it's a different location.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which was partially because we had some problems with an actor dropping out
That's right.
the night before.
Okay.
So that mechanic guy was not. I mean, I'd never met him before.
Was that not at the an auto parts or not?
Nope.
Whatever.
That was at somebody's garage, personal garage.
Fun.
It just has like a drinking fountain and looks kind of commercial.
Really? They have a drinking fountain in their garage? That's kind of cool.
It's a cool garage. You'd like it.
Yeah, I sound like I would.
You weren't there that day of the shoot, were you?
Nope.
Well, so the thing with that was we had the guy who owns that place was supposed to play the mechanic.
Yeah, I remember this story.
Yeah, and then I hear the night before, like, oh, he doesn't, he feels awkward about being on camera. He doesn't want to do it anymore. Which that's happened on all of our movies, and I get it because a lot of people don't have any experience acting. Yeah. At least in that one they did.
They think it's easy till the camera's pointed at them. And they're like,
this guy didn't even get a camera pointed at him. He never even saw the camera.
He just thought about it too much.
I just asked him to because
I can see him just like totally having like a nervous breakdown.
Yes, he went to the bathroom. He's looking at his face in the mirror. He's like, oh God, what have I gotten into? And so he had
people don't want to see this.
So he had that other guy show up, and I'd never met him before. And that mechanic was funny. He comes and he's rehearsing lines with Will, and of course Will, doesn't know his lines any better than the guy that we just met for the first time. And they're kind of going through them, and the guy's like, "Hey, is it all right if I go get a water?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine." He walks away for a little bit, comes back with a beer.
You probably got a water on the way.
Yeah, that's funny.
Sip of water,
he comes back to the set,
drinking
beer. Like, all right, whatever.
That's how you feel.
He had to loosen up.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got on all this. What was I saying? How do we get on adaptation?
Something about interviewing for almost a weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when's
we should do that.
When's almost two weekend happening? Maybe.
I don't want to direct it.
Oh, okay.
I will help write it and I will act in it.
That's fun.
I will produce it. Yeah. I do not want to direct that because I think I have too much baggage from the first one. Yeah. Although Ben has an idea.
You've gained too much pride since then.
Yes, I think that's it. It's a step down for me to go back to that universe.
Wasn't Will writing another one, or was it the adaptation too?
Will is working maybe on it'd be the. Did I tell you about Ben's idea for it and then Will's idea? So it's like the parents years down the line, and the funniest part still is just Lou being a wedding planner.
Yeah.
And his fiance is like, why, we have to do all this stuff. Why haven't you been doing it? He's like, I've been planning weddings all day. And he comes home and he just doesn't want to do it. Yeah, so that's what Will's working on. Remy, our director of photography and producer on Almost a Weekend, pitched an idea for Almost a Weekend 2 that I thought was funny, which would be that it's years later, everyone's lives have moved on to different places, and they all get anonymous invitations to come out to a ranch in Wyoming. And they're all like, okay, that's kind of weird.
That's right, yeah. I think I remember this one.
They all go out there, and Phil, played by Will Forget, now owns this ranch, and is just like he's very serious about working the land and everything. And it's this beautiful ranch that they have, and it's this nice house. And then somebody dies or gets poisoned or something, and then Ben's character takes it on himself to become the investigator, and it's like everybody's locking the doors, he's doing all the interrogations, trying to figure it out, and it becomes a murder mystery. I think it's almost a murder mystery. Which I think that would be funny.
Yeah. I
don't know if I want to make that movie, but it'd be funny. So
it sounds like every other murder mystery, though. I mean, it's the problem. It's a little too tropey at this point.
That's where I came down on it, which is I don't know how to make it work, really.
Yeah, you'd have to do something different. It's kind of hard to do with something that's so, overdone.
Yes, because it's also a weird series to turn into, like, everybody gets killed.
Yeah, I mean...
See, the first one doesn't really have that. It's not that genre-y. But the first one does have those little allusions to horror movies, so maybe, I don't know.
That's fun. I love the Pop-Tart. That's so great.
It's the only intense Pop-Tart shot in the history of cinema.
Oh, probably.
Yeah, even Annalie's good in that part.
Yeah.
Just that little look she gives.
I never understood who wants to go inside and open up the windows, though. It's like, is that like a thing you do when you just go?
Well, if it's stuffy in there, it's hot. You want to open the windows a little bit.
Okay, I don't know. But like they weren't even in there yet, so it's just...
Well, Maya's character would know
if the windows were open, they would have seen it from the outside already.
No, not from that part. Not where they drove up.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
They were open on all the other sides. Actually, that was all thought of.
Oh, really? Yeah. You actually... Okay.
Yeah, so
good job.
I can tell you for sure that
all right,
there are any number of continuity errors in that movie. That's
besides
not one of them.
You know your windows, and that's...
Well, part of the reason why there's maybe not so many continuity errors in that movie is literally just because it was all shot in 4 days. So
there was no time for continuity.
There were some conditions that just couldn't change at all. I think you see that I lose like 5 pounds over the course of the movie. I look very thin in some scenes, and I look fat.
Your hair's super long.
Yeah, it's all over the place because I wasn't really eating, and I was walking around and filming things. And well, one of the shots where I have the boots on my feet that they can't get off my feet. That was all real because my shoes broke while we were filming.
No.
And I didn't have any feet. I didn't have any shoes, and so Remy's like, "Here, we'll just wear these boots." They were the only boots that they had that I could walk around in, and they were like 4 sizes too small.
Oh no!
So I filmed all morning.
Your feet grew while you were there.
I filmed all morning in these shoes with. It's like my feet had been bound, like I lived in China and I was a woman or something, and then I literally could not get them off when we were done. So I was like, just someone turn on a camera and this is be a scene now because it's kind of funny.
This is going in the movie.
And it did. I think it's funny.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I never thought that... Well, that was one of the good things about acting in the movie was that if something bad happened to me, literally, then we could just work
use it.
Oh. Yeah.
Take advantage of your own misery.
That's what that movie is, and that's maybe why it's hard for me to go back to that universe. Ben does want to do a series also... Apparently everyone's just doing series and sequels.
Does he want to do a series or does he want to talk about doing a series?
I don't know, but he's pitched to me that it'd be Ike and Warren, my character and his character, open a coffee shop, which is kind of like a merging of all of our worlds, I guess.
And our real life.
So
vaguely.
I think Ben and I are funny. We have a funny little thing when we do our stupid characters, so it's possible that could be funny, but I don't know if that's going to happen either, but... That's where all that's at. And then we've got Naomi Jones coming out, which is
NJ.
Cool. We got that music video, the Bach Mai music video.
Yeah, I haven't watched it.
Well, that's just for the listeners. That's out. Ben directed that. It's a Father-Son Productions thingy. Father-Son Productions production.
Father-Son's production.
Father-Son Films production.
Yeah.
You know, I thought about that. There's some companies where they're smart about the way they name it. So it'd be like Father-Son Pictures.
Yeah, okay.
A Father-Son Pictures production.
That's too many P's already there. Picture production.
It
doesn't roll off the tongue too well. You know.
Well, I don't know. I want us to have a cool logo.
I think our logo.
Well, our logo is fine, but I wanted to do crazy things.
Yes, we need the Will head. I think we should have like just like a stupid, before the movie kind of thing, like one of those like clips where it's like, what is this? Oh, it's the production company.
Yeah,
one of those things. Yeah.
Talk to Ben. Let's get one.
Okay, I still want the Will Forte washing up on a beach. I think that'd be fun too.
Okay, pitch me that one again. I don't remember.
Where it's like
the opening of Inception.
Kind of like it's just like the beach. Like you're kind of like on like the coast, and you're just looking at. It's close up on, the sand and the water rolls up and there's nothing there, goes back, goes up another time, comes back and there's just Will, like dead. Like, I don't know why it's so funny. So with his mouth open, dead, just like right in the...
Is it like a close-up of his face?
I'd assume so,
dead
yeah.
face?
Like pretty close to
it. Productions?
Yeah.
That's so weird.
I think it's hilarious. I don't know why. I just think it'd be funny to have Will wash up on a beach, but like I don't want you to like see him like wash up. I just want to see like the water come up, then it comes down and there's just Will there this next time, and it's... I think it'd be great.
Everyone would be there and be like, what are we watching?
I know. And then it'd go to some silly comedy about a guy and his adopted brother. That's... Is that the same guy who washed up on the beach at the beginning?
Yeah, people were like, was that part of the story?
Right.
Was that part of the movie? I'm excited for all our things that we have going. I can't wait for 4 Quadrant to come out. I still don't know.
4 Quadrant? Oh, yeah.
The short movie. Because we filmed that in October 2015.
It's so long
ago.
So
I had no idea this podcast was going to be called 5 Quadrant when we filmed it. And so I thought the short would be out like a year ago.
It's a prequel to this.
Yeah, kind of. Well, it's Ben and I playing ourselves pitching a movie to a producer looking to make Hispanic projects.
Okay.
It's like Martinez Productions or something. And I think it turned out to be really funny.
Okay.
Anderson plays the producer.
Yeah, I think you showed me like a little clip.
It's so silly. And so that's going to come out sometime soon. We got Naomi Jones.
And Jay. Almost done.
Yeah,
I think I lost a few minutes because I forgot to turn it off the right way. And I had it unplugged, and so I lost like 5 minutes of work. But
is that why you're up to 20 again?
Yeah.
Because I thought you'd said before.
I thought I was closer, and then like I look at it, I'm like 55 minutes. I thought I was farther than that. And
which scene are you at?
Oh, I don't remember. It's been a while since I opened it.
Are you at Cave People?
Yeah,
Leaf People?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't remember if I finished Cave People or if I was near the end of it.
Well, I've got another thing to add in there anyway.
Okay.
So.
To the Cave People?
Yeah.
Really? What else is there?
There's a longer scene with David, or maybe just like the second half of it. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
It might just cut off randomly.
Yeah, that's probably what's going on then.
And then a little part with Bridget. And then we'll have a little montagey part that won't have audio to mix.
Is that the downtown street walking montage thing?
No, that's all in there.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it was just like an update of that. It was the only okay.
This will be
2
just
montages,
like
one movie?
nature.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, and then I think otherwise that's pretty good to go. There's a couple little pickup things we got to get.
Okay.
And we have to make some fake posters and everything. But I'm excited for that. That'll be fun.
It's soon.
You still like it?
Yeah. I mean, it's hard whenever you got to sit through it over and over and over again. But I mean,
Well, I'd like to make a movie that's so good that you can literally sound edit it and still
it
love
and
it.
Enjoy it.
Because I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if any movie can do that.
Well, it sounds like I won't have to do it next time, so that's all right. I mean,
that's a different achievement, though.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's the biggest challenge. If you can make a movie that your editor loves by the time it's all over. And like wants to watch again.
How about like loves like halfway through it? Like I think that's the hard point is when you get to that hump of oh my god, I've watched this same scene 10 times in a row, or it's just like this one like 5-second clip over and over and over again.
Well, you
got to get it placed right.
The whole scene with Carrie Bates, which she's doing.
Yes, the interview. That was obnoxious.
Yeah, I bet you hate that one. Yeah. That was a long scene. That's like a 15-minute scene.
Mm-hmm. I tried to make it like quick and snappy for most of the parts where they're being like back and forthy, kind of like she gets a little like back at her like immediately, but yeah.
Do you think that scene turned out well?
Oh yeah,
I'm excited to see it.
Are you doing any more color correction on that, or is that done?
No, there's a ton of the movie that still needs to be.
Okay.
I'm playing with all that.
Yeah.
I was just gonna wait till you were done.
Okay.
So
I was just wondering because
I think it like cuts off. I think
yeah.
maybe there's like the first chunk of it's okay. And
yeah.
I don't know, but a lot of the movie's probably really ugly to look at right now, but it'll get better.
It's amazing what color correction can do.
Well, part of the reason why I like that camera is because you can manipulate the colors a lot with the footage that you end up with. Some cameras you can't, or it doesn't look as good when you manipulate it. So
yeah, we got a good camera.
Yeah, we got 2.
I think this one looks a lot better than a adaptation. It's less, I don't know. It just looks higher, like better produced, so to speak.
Well, the difference with theater actors and Will Forge is they are so consistent. And so I know what they're going to do.
We can do it over and over and over again.
I know where they're going to be. I know when they're going to be in focus and when they're not going to be. Whereas with Will, he's at his best if you just kind of like pull back and let him do whatever he's going to do.
Yeah.
And part of that means
you got to do it like
you got to move the camera more, and sometimes you're going to be out of focus because he just can't stay on his marks,
or he moves the marks.
And part of that's why that movie works, though. I think is because he's interesting enough to just watch. Not conform to anything. But
I like that one. We got a review where it said like the main character responds in such a way that just isn't like a normal person. And it's like
I said Will
no normal person would respond like this to anything that's said to him. And it's like okay.
I said that to Will, and he was like, "I take that as a compliment." Because I was like, "That is him."
He would. Did you see he is back on Facebook now?
Yes.
How bizarre.
I don't understand. It's like he just didn't want to be here to promote adaptation when we needed it.
That's a good theory. Let's see it.
All right, well, we're out of time. So
we are. Time is up.
Thoughts? Last thoughts? Final word?
Final quad?
Final quad.
Any final quads?
Last quad.
I don't have anything.
End of the quad.
I mean, we've been talking for an hour, so it's kind of hard to just come up with one more.
Fin quad. I'm trying to come. What's a good pun?
I don't know. I already ate mine.
You're done with puns?
Yeah, I'm done with puns for the day.
Done with puns. Done with the quads. Well, this is a lackluster ending, though.
Well, you kept it dragging. I thought we were gonna end it. You sounded like you were gonna cut it off earlier. You're like, all right, this is it.
Yeah, I was, but then I need a boom.
A boom? I don't know. I don't work under pressure like that with comedy. You know,
every single week I do this to you.
I know, and it never works. Like it's never worked any week. Like I've never come up with anything funny to say because of it. You're always like, come up with something quick. I'm like, I can't. Like it doesn't work like that. I don't do requests. Like it's just.
I'm not your monkey.
Yeah, get your own damn comedy monkey.